Hey guys, back with another Tech Tip Tuesday. Today I'm with Brad Nagel. Brad is our resident wiring expert. He comes in and works at our shop on all of our projects. He's a badass in wiring and does a great job with all this stuff. He's actually the reason why my LT1 Nova ran the first time. When nobody else in the world knew how to make it run, Brad wired it up and it was awesome. But enough bragging about Brad. Today we're talking about powers and grounds. So if it's your first project, unlike Brad's, you might not understand or know, but in instructions for ECUs and electronics and sensors and all that type of stuff, you'll see a lot of times they say run the power right to the battery. And the reason why that is because there's a thing called a clean power and a dirty power, and a clean ground and a dirty ground. So, you know, when you're firing something important like coils or injectors, or you're wiring up sensors, it's really important that you have clean power. What is the difference between clean and dirty power, and what makes it different?
What they're wanting you to do is separate your, like on a Holly, for example, it's going to have your main power harness you need to wire direct to battery so that your ECU is getting clean power direct from the battery. It's on that connector.
And what constitutes clean power?
Clean power would be coming directly from battery, and dirty power is like anything like your water pump, any big inductive load, water pumps, nitrous solenoids, alternator, like all of that. So you want to isolate all those things from your sensitive electronics like your dash, your ECU. Coils, yeah, like your coils, like if you read the directions on an IGM-1A, you'll have 3 grounds, one that goes to the block, one that goes direct back to the battery, and then your reference ground that'll go to the ECU.
Yep.
So if you don't wire all that stuff right, you're going to have problems.
And so why is power dirty? It's because it's putting radio frequency basically, or some type of frequency into the system?
Well, there's a inrush current. If you look at it on an oscilloscope, you'll get a spike like when an electric motor kicks on, or like you can see it in your home when you kick on a mixer or something like that, and your lights flicker and your TV acts weird, or at least old TVs acted weird.
Yeah.
Modern TVs don't, because they have a clean power source in the TV.
Yeah, so basically once it sees that dirty, if it's like feeding the ECU, it's going to start with dirty power, which means that it can have bad readings and fire injectors and coils incorrectly and all that, right?
Right, yeah, your biggest thing is it's going to mess with your cam and crank input, basically your 2 most important inputs into the ECU.
And so what's the best way to have clean and dirty power? So if a guy's running an alternator, they run it all the way back to the battery, right?
Right, you're not gonna pull any dirty power. You're gonna pull any of your clean power directly off the battery.
And the battery acts as like a
it
filter.
Filters out the noise.
Because of the lead inside of it, or what?
There's a thing called coupled noise that happens when you have a water pump kicks on, and you get that across there. But if you're pulling off the battery, you don't see that noise. That noise is...
It's basically being isolated into the battery.
You're just isolating it out is the best way to say it.
And like when I first started wiring, I thought I was like, well, if they're both coming from the battery, it shouldn't matter. So I would like run it from a main post, and I would have issues. So what a lot of people don't know is that even though your dirty power and your clean power start at the battery's filtering all that out. So you still want to branch them completely separate. So like if you're a beginner, I suggest anyways, just running 2 separate power posts, one that distributes clean power for the things that matter and like up front, and one that goes to like an alternator or something.
Yep, that's a pretty safe way to do it. I do that a lot of times where I'll put a clean power up that'll power like my dash and my ECU. You know, like on a simple car, that's really all you have that needs clean power.
Yep.
And then you can pull, like what a lot of guys do, the mistake they make is they put everything off the starter lug.
Yeah.
So then now you have everything coming off. You have your starter, your water pump, everything's right there.
And your alternator, it's all like combining into one.
So it causes problems.
Yeah. And the same thing with grounds, right? Because a ground can backfeed dirty, right?
Well,
just
yeah,
like
you can have the same thing. You want to have a clean ground to the battery for your sensitive electronics.
Yep. So ideally, they'll have like 2 powers, a clean power and a dirty power, and 2 ground lugs, a dirty ground and a clean ground.
And a lot of times you don't even have to go so far as a lug because you don't have that many things going to it. You know, you can put your connector in and then a single, you know, if you just have a dash, you just need a 14 gauge wire going up or something to power the...
Sure.
It just really depends on the car.
Sure. I know, like, from what I end up running a bunch of powers and a bunch of grounds each way, so when you're not wiring it, back in the day when I was wiring
Yeah.
my own stuff, I would just do lugs in the front. That way I don't have to have huge runs of wire and make it
Right,
super heavy.
that makes it easier and cleaner because all your stuff's up in the front and a rear mounted battery. So
Yep. So
you
that
don't
way
have
when
to
you
have a
make
bunch of
changes,
stuff.
you don't like when you add a boost controller or you add another box, you're gonna want another clean power or you're going another clean ground. It's easier to add it to this than it is to run a whole nother length of wire to the back. Because unlike you, not everybody's prepared. And like when Brad does my car or whatever car, he actually he'll spend like several days planning it out, and he has these sheets that has everything labeled and where it goes. The mere mortal like myself, when I do it, I end up pulling a bunch of extra wires every time I change something or add something. The way he does it, it's easy to add on to. Because a lot of times people call you back and have you come add new modules or the latest electronics. So
Yeah, cars very rarely ever stay the same. So
Yep.
you want to build some future proofing into it.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys will learn a lot from this, even though you haven't seen the negative side effects of wiring it incorrectly. Trust me when I say that adding clean powers and clean grounds is the way to go. It'll definitely help you troubleshoot and not have to diagnose a bunch of crazy things that happen, because a lot of them are even hard to understand why they're happening. When you say if you don't have an oscilloscope and you're not really good with electronics and you wire it incorrectly.
Right, yeah, we'll have problems. You'll have intermittent misses or you'll have sync loss.
Yep.
And that's your biggest clue is you have sync loss. And
Which is really common in LS engines and stuff. People,
Yep.
The crank triggers will lose sync and you have all kinds of issues, and all of a sudden it's backfiring and you're trying to chase your tail, figure it out. So
yeah, the closest thing is just follow the directions in the Holley manual. They're pretty good about telling you where to run stuff and
or
where
Hull
not
Tech
to
or
run
Fuel
stuff.
Tech or MSD, any of that stuff. They all say run power right to the battery and ground right to the battery. So definitely don't skip that step. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate Brad filling us in on some of his secrets. I hope this was a valuable video for you, and I definitely hope that saved you some heartache. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.